Do my duties.
Kind of leave, they can push their keyboards back in.
They tell them just leave it up there or something.
They put them in the instrument room.
There's 4 of them.
They just put them down always. Just, where are they?
They were at the base of the track.
All right. Test. Can you hear me? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try that again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That's better. All right. My name is Gray Weaver. I'm the director of bands here at Milton High School. And I want to welcome you to the home of the mighty Black and Gold Band, our Milton High School band room here. Guys, thank you for coming out tonight. What we wanted to do tonight is just simply share with you just some things about our band program. I know that most of you are either or incoming freshmen or incoming sophomore parents. And last summer, we didn't get a chance to do a meeting like this because of COVID and everything was just kind of weird. We finally had a meeting in the stadium just to tell the band parents, here's what we're going to try to do through this fall. So thank you for coming out tonight. Hopefully each family got one of these packets that has an agenda on it? If not, we've got those right up here if you want to step up and get one, and then we've got plenty of volunteer applications for parents to fill out if you plan to volunteer with us this year. Mr. Schultz, if we can get this door closed back here, that would be awesome. One of the doors is closed, they can close the other one. But guys, do want to again introduce myself. I'm Gray Weaver. I am starting my 28th year here as the director of the bands at Milton High School after having graduated here back in 1987. And went off to Southern Miss for 5 years, went and taught for a couple of years in Madison, Mississippi. And my band director, Mr. Bell, retired, and I came home. And had two daughters come to the band program, and just love what we've got going here. The gentleman that just walked in right here next to me is Mr. Michael Schultz, our assistant director. I'll let him introduce more about himself.
Hello, guys. I'm Mr. Schultz. I'm the assistant band director. I'm the one that's going to be torturing everybody this week and in July, so you're welcome. I'm ending my 11th year, starting my 12th year here. Milton, obviously. I graduated from Tate High School and actually played tuba there in Southern Miss, along with Mr. Weaver. I didn't play with Mr. Weaver. He was there in like the 20s, so nothing to worry about. 1820s. So, guys, love this, love doing this. If y'all ever have a question about anything, whatnot, phone call away, an email away. I do my best to answer when I can, okay? But I will get you an answer to whatever you need.
All right. So, without further ado, I want to move on. If you'll we'll follow along with the agenda that I gave you. Now, guys, I know it's small. We were trying to get the agenda on one page, and it's just that way for some of us that are over 50. I know for me it's harder to see. But notice number 2 here on our agenda, the Milton High School Band Parent Association wants to introduce you to the current officers. And if those folks will come up here at this time. And if you'll flip the agenda over, you'll notice on the back that I've given you some contact information for Mr. Schultz and myself. If you'll notice at the top, probably the best way to contact us with questions, if it's not live, is to simply email us. We will try by the end of the day to get to all the emails, or if it's late in the afternoon or early evening, will be the next day. But notice our contact information is there. Notice that Chandler Sedlacek, our percussion director, his contact information is there. And Samantha Bird, our color guard director, her contact information is also there. So for you to reach out to. As our board's coming up here as well, Miss Rebecca Justice, you're in the back. If you'll stand up. Miss Justice is our head chaperone. And as we get to talking about volunteer opportunities a little bit later, that is Miss Justice is who will be contacting you, those that have gone through the Chaperone Training. So, board at this time, I want to introduce one person, Miss Cindy Lambeth, our booster president. Cindy Norton, it changed back in November, sorry. Cindy Norton, I fixed it on here, it was correct on here, is our booster president. Mr. Joe Bowen is our first vice president. Joe? Wait, did I get that backwards? Sorry, flip-flop those. Arlene Wires is our first vice president. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I was trying to use last year's list, okay? And then Mr. Joe Bowen is our second vice president. Joe, wave to him. And then we've got Miss Debbie Meyer, our association secretary. Miss Candy Bowen, our association treasurer. Miss Maddie Jones, our trustee with 1 year remaining. And then Miss Daphne Mitchell, our trustee with 2 years remaining. So give it up for your Band Parent Association. You can say something this morning?
Thank you all for being here tonight. Without this group, and especially our famous fundraisers and our concession stands VP on the end down there, we couldn't be able to support the band program and what their needs are. So volunteers is what does it. Whether you're on the board or not, just want to help with a task or be on the board. We do have 2 openings, which Mr. Weaver will talk about in a little bit, but call us. I gave you a little card you can put on the refrigerator. Our number's on it. Call me. We will put you to work, whether it's a small task or a large task, so whatever that you're comfortable with. And we don't do it unless we have fun, because I wouldn't be the president if we didn't have fun. So we have lots of fun, don't we, group? See, they're all smiling. Still smiling? Yeah, still smiling. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Norton. Guys, if you'll follow along with me on here, you'll notice she was talking about the openings that we have. We do have an openings filled for assistant secretary and assistant treasurer on our board for this upcoming year. So if leadership is part of your thing, or if you just want to get in and sort of learn the ropes, those are two great positions. Oh, Chandler is here. Yeah, Chandler, if you'll stand up, our new percussion director. He's new as percussion director this year. Give it up, Mr. Chandler. Send the check. Mr. John Wooden was our percussion director, and this was his last year. We just celebrated him on Sunday, 27 years our percussion director. So he didn't make it all 30 with me. So, but Chandler, we're glad to have you on board. Chandler's been a tech for us about the last 5 or 6 years. So we welcome you. Any other staff that stayed behind? Is Kathy here, or Sound here, or Hannah? All right. So moving on, talking about the BPA. Guys, understand this, that you are a part of the Milton High School Band Parent Association. If you've got a kid in the band, you're already a part of it. A few years ago, we called this the band boosters when I first came, and we'd have parents go, well, I'm not a booster. And so the boosters said, wait, well, this is for all band parents. So we want you to be a part, we want you to be involved. Your kids in the program, and I will tell you this, the kids that I see that get the most out of the program, their parents are also involved in the program as well. And they see that support from mom and dad or guardian or grandparents. And so I encourage you to get involved. They do have a good time. They work hard, but they also play hard. So please come out and help them out. Notice their meetings are the second Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock. Usually in the band room, unless there's a conflict. Now, we'll tell you that in this month's meeting, June meeting, is not the second Tuesday. It's next Monday, because next Tuesday is Milton High School graduation. And we just figured there would be a conflict if we're trying to have a BPA meeting over here with graduation going on over there. So I encourage you to come out, and you'll see the business that they take care of. They are responsible for helping to raise thousands of dollars a year to help supplement. We don't get a lot of funding from the school district. We usually get about $4,000 to purchase new instrument repair, and whatever else that we need that year. That won't even buy a tuba. A tuba is about $6,500. Okay, so we have to kind of get those funds, and the band parents are responsible for helping us. They help with our support staff, our percussion director, our color guard director, and support staff. They help with those funds. You'll notice up here on the board as well, we've got a uniform drive going on. We're trying to replace our uniforms after about in our 15th year in the same uniform. Looking to raise about $100,000 right now is what we're trying to raise, and trying to raise that as soon as we can to get our kids in new uniforms. So that's just a small part of what they do to supplement our band. Notice that we do have a volunteer incentive program. We want you to come help. And guys, we have what's called a fair share fee that I'll talk about a little bit later. But you can lower your fair share by $75 by volunteering at 3 of those events, because the monies that they make help offset our fair shares. Okay, so you volunteer at 3 events, you can knock $75 off. Again, I'll cover that a little bit later. The volunteer opportunities that we do have with the band, of course, is with a BPA. They do all kinds of fundraisers. They sell at bands on the Blackwater. They sell at Sweet Seasons Farms. They sell at the mud races. They sell at Southern Raceway. We've got a concession trailer that's around town. We have had shish kebabs, our famous shish kebabs. Anybody here ever had our famous shish kebabs? See a few hands go up? Yeah. If you go to Milton High School football game, you immediately smell them, okay? We've had that recipe here since 1983. It is a pretty well-guarded recipe. And so we get the kids together, sometimes just parents, and we have to stick the shish kebabs on skewers. They have to marinate them. They have they marinate, we put them in our freezer, and there's a whole process to that. But those are some of the greatest money makers that we've had since 1983 is our famous shish kebabs. So opportunities there to help with them with fundraisers. There's opportunities that we need as well. I mentioned Miss Justice earlier with chaperoning the band. We take 170 plus students off. Me and Mr. Schultz can't be the only 2 adults. We need people that are extensions of our eyes and our ears and our hands and our feet to help us to keep making sure that our kids are safe, that our kids are where they need to be, and that we can get those supplies and stuff out to our kids during the football games or during the performances. We need help with the field sometimes, helping line the field. We need band parents that'll drive the band trucks. We have 2 band trucks. When we take the marching band on the road to a away football game or a marching contest, we have to have drivers and so forth for that. So just a few of the volunteer opportunities. When you're at one of these events, be sure to sign in. We have certain ways that we do it. Usually we have a QR code. I know for chaperoning, if you see right up here on the corner of the wall to the right of the 2, you'll see the QR code. We use QR codes a lot. Usually at the band parent events or the concession stands and so forth, they have QR codes. And be sure to sign in. Number one, so you can get the credit. If it's a money-making event, you get that $75 credit out for volunteering at 3 of those. But also so that we can count up all the volunteer hours. A lot of times we'll log over 20,000 volunteer hours during the school year with the Band Parent Association. We turn all that stuff into the school. So please make sure if you are there that you log in when you get there and log out. I mentioned our shish kebab meat stickings. Okay. again, a very cool process. Is there something you want to say about that?
I give it to you. Our first vice president, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We are currently out of shish kebabs, so we do have a meat sticking scheduled for June 15th. So starting at 5:30 in the cafeteria. So if anybody wants to volunteer, kids can come as well, and the students will get volunteer hours for this. So it will be put on Charms. I gotta get with, where's Debbie? Debbie, I'll get with you later with the info so you can put it on Charms. So y'all just need to go on Charms and sign up.
Thank you. You'll notice as well as you came in, you should have gotten one of these cards. You'll see some of the events that are coming up that they've got. 4th of July's on there, right? I can't read that. That's smaller than my writing. Wow. Okay. The concessions, the Band Camp Cafe. You see the home football season, home football games, and all where we're going to need help. So put that on your refrigerator somewhere, and again, help us out. Come to those meetings, guys. We'll talk about Charms a little bit later as well. If you want to know how do I sign up, there's an opportunity on our Charms website where you sign up to help volunteer. Moving on, bullet 3, volunteer applications and process. Guys, if you're going to do anything as a parent or a friend of the band or a family member, we must now have a volunteer application on file for Milton High School. If you fill one out at Hobbs or King or Avalon, that's great, but it does not work for Milton High School. Okay? Before we can allow you to even come up here and do anything, chaperone or work concessions, we have to have one of these on file. We have to file it with the school. They do the background check. It has to be voted on by the school board. Okay? That's something that changed up year before last, Mr. Schultz?
Yeah.
Okay?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And so please, if you did it this past year for Milton High School, you're good until the first day of school. But while we're here, let's go ahead and get these things filled out. If you don't do it tonight, get it back to us in the next few days so we can get them submitted. What we do is we keep a database. And so when people sign up to help chaperone or people sign up to help at concessions or one of our fundraising activities, we have to check that list to make sure that you've been approved by the school board. And that's just a safety that they've got in there in place to help and keep our kids safe. Okay? So please, if you did not get a volunteer form, I've given you the link on there. I've got looks like about 60 more of them up here. So please take one of those. Yes, I know it's 5 pages, but it'll cover you for the whole school year until the beginning of the following school year. Okay? Any questions about that? Moving on. Number 4, something that we tried a couple of summers ago. We couldn't do it last summer because, well, we couldn't meet person to person and face to face. Is parent small group meet and greets, where I sit down along with a few of our board members, sit down with 3 or 4 families at a time. During band camp, kids are out here on the field practicing. We meet right across the parking lot here in the last classroom on the left and our music lab that we have over there. And we just sit and kind of get to know you, and you can ask questions of us. And it was awesome 2 years ago. We were able to do that. I was able to get to know band parents better, and you were able to get to know me and some of the board members better. If you'll notice, we've got 4 dates on that: July 14th, July 15th, which is a Wednesday and a Thursday, if I recall, and then July 20th and 21st, which is a Tuesday and a Wednesday, the second week of camp, with 3 different time slots, little 30-minute meet and greets. Please, 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 I'd love to get to know you. There's nothing worse to me than senior recognition night on the football field, of going down shaking hands with a kid that I've had for 4 years, and we've taught for 4 years, and we'll be like, oh, that's your parent. Never met him before. Okay? And guys, it's sad. So please, I'd love to get to know you and us become friends and so forth. So I encourage you to sign up with those. Notice there's a QR code as well there. If you just simply take your smartphone and you turn on the camera, okay? Your iPhone, if you got that, turn on the camera. If you've got an Android, there's a free apps for QR codes you can download. I think I asked you like 5 questions. Your name, your student's name, which night, or your cell phone so I can text you and confirm that we've got you for meeting that time, what night you want, what time you want, okay? So I'd love to do that meet and greet with you. So that's number 4. Number 5, a little bit about our halftime show. Ms. Schultz, you want to share? Yes, I put that on there.
I don't know how to explain that part.
So we're looking at about 170, a little bit more members in the marching band.
All right. Not sure if that's actually going to be the name, but I'll talk about that in a second. So we're able to get on the field and do a halftime show like normal, like we used to, and that was awesome. And the first thing that we thought of this year when we knew that we were going to be able to do that is just something that we want to have fun. Just come out, remind the folks that, hey, we exist. We're here. We're back, ready to get to it. So we were looking through music, and and all that. And we were kind of settled in on something from a drum corps called Velvet Knights did back in the early 90s, 1992 Velvet Knights. And they went on a world tour, and we said, that's awesome. They have an exciting opener, which is the Magical Mystery Tour by the Beatles. That's going to go right into Brazil. So we go from, basically England to Brazil, which is a heck of a commute. And then we're going to make our way over at some point to Italy with That's Amore. That's going to go into a little bit of Russia with tradition and the bottle dance, which our color guard loves me for. The bottle dance from Fiddler on the Roof. So, so in between all that, we're either gonna do What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong, mix that with Leaving on a Jet Plane, or just do What a Wonderful World. The big thing is we wanted the kids to get into it and have fun with it. We wanted the crowd to get involved so they can get right back to the kids and all that. And Mr. Weaver and I were talking, we wanted to come up with some kind of catchy name for it. And, world tour, it is a world tour, but I don't know, we wanted more than that. So we were talking, and Mr. Weaver just says, "Man, we're just tripping this year. We're tripping. We be tripping." So I was telling him, imagine saying that at a football game. Mighty White Girl, they're tripping this year. So I don't know what the title is. We may keep it at that. Just don't want people to take it the wrong way. That's all.
I'll put it in there kind of as a fun. That's what we're doing though. We're going on a trip. We're taking the band and music that the crowd will recognize. Just having a good time with it. And again, 'cause we weren't able to do a halftime show last year. We were able to go out and stand on the field and do some pieces once the season kind of got underway. But this time last summer, we had no idea what the future held for band. And so we're excited about the halftime show. Moving on, and you may want to stay up here, but I can talk about it. Shadowing alternate line. I will let you know that we will have some students that will alternate, is what we call it, alternates. You want to explain that?
Yeah, so every other performance, we have spots on the field where students alternate every performance. Because we do that because of various reasons. Maybe they just don't quite have it down, have the marching or the playing down. Maybe they miss too many rehearsals, and it's not fair for the folks that are there every day to perform. They have to kind of earn that spot to be able to perform. And whatnot. If injuries come up, sometimes if the injuries last the whole year, we'll take that alternate, the two students that are alternating that one spot, and we'll take that one of those students and put them in a completely other instrument spot, where they're playing their normal instrument, they're just marching in a tuba spot or something. So that's how we do it. And there's again, we kind of base that off of auditions. We base it off of what we see with marching stuff. We base it off of work ethic, and all that just combines together, and we send that off to our drill writer. So.
All right, moving on. Number 7. And guys, again, I know your time's valuable. We're going to push through this and give you a chance a little later to ask some questions. Expectations for students. And this is extremely important because, guys, in order to have a successful organization, we got to make sure everybody is on the same page. So the first thing we expect our kids to do is to work hard when they're with us. When they're here, we've got to do the band thing. We got to focus on the band thing. Now, I will tell you this, having taught for 29 years now, the most important thing that we teach kids is not music. It's to be good citizens. It's to work together as team players. It's responsibility. It's self-discipline. That's what we're trying to do. So when they graduate and they get out of here, whether they go into music or not, we want them to be successful in life. Okay? But regardless of when they're here, we need them to work hard. The second thing we need from them is to be at all rehearsals and performances unless they're sick, if there's a death in the family, and we know there are extreme circumstances. What we do, guys, is we put this calendar out way in advance. I know I've had 2 daughters come to the program. I know sometimes you have to book doctor's appointments 6 months in advance. Been there and done that, okay? If you can, though, please, we need to try to avoid Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays during marching season and certain Saturdays, okay? We don't need it, please, that, Uncle Joe's in town and we need to go out to dinner tonight and Susie's not going to be at band practice. What happens when we're missing a student is it affects everybody that's around that student. we've got a 3-hour rehearsal. We're out there teaching drill and getting the students where they know where the next moves are and so forth to put the halftime show together. When that student comes back, we have to stop everybody's progress and then go back and catch that student up. And so you multiply that times 160 some other students, and it takes us 10 minutes to do it. It slows the process down. So please have them here, and we know extreme circumstances are going to come up. We'll work with that. The main thing we do need from you is if they're going to miss a practice, let us know in advance. We tell the kids we're preparing them for the workforce. If you can't be at work and you just don't show up to work, when you show up the next time, guess what happens? You get fired. And so we've given them our cell phone numbers, given you our cell phone numbers, a text, an email. You can call the band room phone up here and leave a message. We have an answer machine there, just so we know what's going on is what we ask. And then when they get back, Mr. Schultz, you'll show them an absence policy or an absence.
I would. We have to make copies of them, but usually right here, there's little papers that they fill out, kind of explaining where they were. They get that. They attach a note from you or proof that they were where indeed they said they were, and then they turn it in directly to me. Usually they're right here, right by our pail.
And guys, you can understand why we do that too, because you think they're at band practice, and they're not, right? They show back up and get in your car at, 8 o'clock that night, 9 o'clock that night, and we think they're at home. You with me on that? So that's just trying to help them do the right things along with help prepare them for life after high school. So please give us a call, a text, an email, or a phone call or something there. I guess a call and a phone call is the same thing, sorry. Missed rehearsal, I will tell you this, guys, that we do have policies, and it's just like football or any other sport or an activity. If they if they have an unexcused rehearsal that week and we've learned new stuff, or even if it's an excused rehearsal, we've learned new stuff, we may suspend them from that Friday night's performance because we're not going to put them out there on the field where they're going to embarrass themselves because they don't know what everybody else is doing. The band goes this way and they go that way, right? So again, that's why being here is so important. That's why communicating with us is so important. Some other expectations that we have is that our students make good grades. The state of Florida says they have to have a 2.0 GPA in order to participate. We have a 2.5 expectation in the band. Okay? The beauty of your child now being in the high school band is that there are 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th graders that are here as big brothers and big sisters that probably had these same classes. And they need to lean on those other students to help them out. Okay? We've got some of the smartest students in the school. I want to say of the 60-something honor graduates, we had like 13 or 14 that were in the band this past year. Okay? So they've got those resources there. They've got us as resources if we need to kind of try to get them help. I know there's tutoring that goes on. Miss Cindy comes up here some and does math tutoring in the afternoons with some of our band students and so forth. So we're here to help them. We want to see them be successful not only in band, but also outside of band. And I think with those expectations comes their success. So we expect good grades. We expect good behavior as well. If they find themselves getting in trouble at school all the time in the dean's office, we're going to have to sit down and talk to them about, do you really need to be in the band program? Same thing with attendance, guys. If they've got more than 10% absence for the number of days that we're in, we can't get them out of class to do a pep rally. We can't get them out of class to do other things. There's school rules for that. So good attendance is important. We expect them to be respectful of each other when they're around here. Now, they're like brothers and sisters. They're going to have their drama and they're going to fight, but we expect them to learn from it, and we'll call them in the office and we'll talk to them. But if they continually are stirring up stuff and creating drama and so forth, we'll talk about their future here. We have to keep that positive climate. We got to keep the band moving forward. Okay, so just want you to kind of be aware of that. We want them to continually work to become a better performer, to practice, to learn their music and learn their drill. Those are just some of the expectations that we have. If they show up and they don't play any better or march any better than they did their first day, then something's gone wrong. So they need to be practicing. So if you can kind of help us at home with that. They need to always serve as a good representative of the Mighty Black and Gold Band program. What do I mean by that? Outside the community. I told you I've been here 27 years. Yes, I've had 1 or 2 students that have gotten in trouble outside of school, okay, with the law. When that happens, we have to look at that student and go, I don't know if we need you in our program. It's one of the first things that I've always seen. It was a band student that got arrested, right? Not just a student, but a band student. And so we have high expectations of our kids, and we want to keep it that way. And I think as a parent, you'd probably agree with me on that. So just to be aware of that, if you will, please. Any questions up to this point? Shadow line, boosters, any questions right now? Anything that's just burning? I want to ask this question. Okay. Well, we'll have some more time. Look at calendars is next. There's a handout on here that I've given you that I always call the refrigerator calendar. If you'll flip past the first page, look at the second page. It says full MHS marching band rehearsal schedule at the top of it right there. This is something that we always give out every year for you to put on your refrigerator. And if you'll notice our rehearsal schedules for this upcoming year, Mr. Schultz, if you want to talk about the marching band a little bit with that. This is the marching band schedule at the top.
So starting in the fall, you see Tuesdays 5 to 9. I'm still up in the air with that, honestly. We may go 6 to 9 with that. It won't get longer. Yeah. So we're just kind of looking at that. But on Thursdays, we'll go 4 to 7. We took away Monday rehearsals. We actually used to practice 3 days a week, then a football game. Then in October, we'd have 3 days a week, a football game, and Saturday competition. After this year, we just realized that was just too much. So we cut it down way much. The only Monday rehearsal we're going to have is on October 11th, and I think that's because it's homecoming week. Yeah. So and then you see we'll have after our competition season, which our competition season is October. The first 3 weekends in October, actually, the first 3 Saturdays, that's our competitions. After we're done with that, we go down to 1 rehearsal a week, and that's just simply to make sure that we don't forget where we're going on the field, because we have 2 games after the 16th, and one of which is the big Pace game, and that's always the biggie there at Pace this year. But you can see our football schedule pretty much every Friday, except for wherever the open week is, September, the end of September. We do not have a game that Friday, so the 24th of September. We host a competition. Did you want me to go over all this?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. I'll keep talking if you let me. We host our own competition called the Blackwater Classic on October 2nd. It's the first Saturday in October. We host it. It's here. We haven't done that in a couple years, obviously, and that's always a real exciting. We have bands from all over the region come in. Sometimes we have college bands that are exhibition after us. So that's the first biggie. That's an all-day event. October 9th is FBA. That's the Florida Bandmasters Association District MPA. That's probably the biggest one that we do, because that's our district evaluation where all the schools in the state of Florida must go to their districts. So that's on October 9th. And then we are going to the Inward Coast Marching Festival over at Choctaw on October 16th. The third Saturday of October, yeah. At some point, you'll see the Santa Rosa County Band Exhibition. We used to do, where all the high school bands in Santa Rosa County would get together at whatever high school it is in the rotation that year, and we would just simply perform for each other. It's not a competition. It is a required performance, but it's just a fun event where we get to meet and greet, hang out with the other schools, and perform for them. And then you can see kind of the end of marching season ends with the Milton Christmas Parade, but we have a big old gap between our last game and the Christmas Parade there. So.
Now, if we make the playoffs as well, understand that if our varsity football team goes anywhere, usually the band is with them. Okay, so after that November 5th, depending on how good the season goes, could depend on more games. And we work with personal conflicts and such the best we can with that. Moving on, you see some other important dates here at the bottom. Just kind of giving you all-state auditions, Santa Rosa All-County Honor Band. A lot of the Santa Rosa County stuff we will determine during pre-planning when all the county directors meet back together again. So that TBD needs to be determined, and like the Santa Rosa Band exhibition and so forth. So we've already got our Christmas concert, December 9th, our Christmas party with the band, December 10th. See Christmas break, All-County Honor Band. You see FBA District Solo and Ensemble, February 12th. Concert band MPA, which is the equivalent to the marching band, except we're seated. And probably your child has hopefully had a chance to do some type of MPA evaluation, okay? And so that's the same thing at the high school level. And then you'll see our spring concert. We've got a marching band rehearsal on April 28th to get ready for our spring concert showcase, which features all 3 concert bands, our jazz band, indoor color guard, indoor percussion, and the marching band. It's a huge, you can ask the returning parents, it's a very long concert. Okay, you get your money's worth that night though for a free concert. So, and then you see we'll have our Charles Bud Bell Memorial Band Banquet on May the 14th. Graduation May 24th. Last day of school next year. Thank goodness, May 25th. I'm telling you, this school in June stuff's killing me. Okay, woke up this morning and told my wife, we shouldn't be having to go to school today. So, but that's just me. I'm old and grumpy. So, any questions about the calendar? Guys, I'd encourage you, post that on your refrigerator, and that way you sort of know when our practices are Tuesday and Thursday, when all the upcoming performances and so forth. All right? Moving back to the agenda. Yes.
This is kind of way forward, but
Yeah.
I'm one of those family that tries to plan vacations.
Yeah, certainly.
And can we expect those 2 weeks, the same 2 weeks to be band camp every year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the reason why.
That's fine.
Yeah, we have to, and Mr. Schultz probably already has it on our charms calendar, I'll tell you, for next summer, because we have to share the field with football, and they'll start their 2 weeks of camp right after we finish, which leads us right into start of school. And so we kind of like having the week off after band camp before teachers have to come back too. So yes, ma'am, good question. Moving on then. So, Charms office, weekly email blast, Facebook, YouTube channel, remind text. It says see handout. If you'll look behind the page that you just looked at, you're going to see find us on the well. Ladies and gentlemen, this man over here puts out about 10 different ways of communication every Sunday or Monday, depending on if we're at school on Monday, of what's going on that week, what you can expect. Okay? You can see we have a band website, easy to find, MiltonHighSchoolBand.com, all spelled out. You can see we have a YouTube channel, all of our performances, football games, concerts, a lot of our meetings. This meeting, you see a camera right back there. You go to our YouTube channel, which is Milton HS Band on YouTube, and you can watch this whole meeting. All of our meetings are on our YouTube channel. We have 6-7 years worth of performances and meetings on our YouTube channel, right? That's 2014, okay? Facebook page, Milton HS Band on Facebook. Or it's the Mighty Black and Gold Band. It's the Milton High School Mighty Black and Gold Band. That's how I always find it on Facebook. When he puts out usually a weekly email through Charms, it goes to our Facebook page. It goes to our website. It goes to our Twitter. It goes to your email. It goes to text. He says there's text with a link on it. I get that text every Sunday. Right. And it's in Microsoft Teams. We do everything we can to communicate. And I'll tell you, nothing drives us nuts more than a kid or a parent go, I didn't know. It's like we've sent it to you 10 different ways. So please, please, please make sure if you're not getting our emails, but they've already got our email this Sunday? Yeah. Yesterday, yeah. If you didn't get that email, then your child may not have given us the right address, email address to go into our charm system, okay? So please get up with us and let us help you with that. Notice as well that our Black Gold Percussion Ensemble has a page, Twitter, and then charmsoffice.com. We use a program that I know some of our middle schools have used in the past called Charms Office. And it's got the login information right there on the page. Well, all you simply do is go to charmsoffice.com, enter where it says enter login, hit student, parent, member, and then you're going to type in the school code, and it's right there, Milton HS Band. All right? And then from there, Mr. Schultz, you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, really, all students fill out a prospective member form. That's the thing that the digital form, the Google form that we did. The reason for that is I took that and I created a Charms account for everybody. No, they're not paying for it. No, you're not. You shouldn't be getting bombarded with any kind of spam. But that huge form all went into a Charms account. So whenever you log in, after you get through the Milton HS Band portion, your login will be your student's last name, all lowercase, and graduation year. In some cases, if there's two students that have the same last name, same graduation year, I use the first letter of the first name in that login. So if you go to log into that and you try all those methods, all you got to do is email me, and I will tell you exactly what to do whenever to log in. From there, it's gonna the first time you log in, it's gonna ask you to change your password, like everything does. And I think I forget what all you have to do on there. It's like 8 characters and 1 capitalized and blah blah blah. But once you get in there, you'll see where to find your student's individual financial account, which Mr. Weaver is going to talk about here shortly. You'll see where the calendar is, which is also actually on our website, MiltonHighSchoolBand.com. And you can see if your child's been there or not. So that's how we keep track of absences after school.
All right, so charmsoffice.com. Guys, if you have questions about it, we'll help you with that. If you'll look at the next page in your packet, It's all things charms. And I'm not gonna waste your time by reading all that out to you. But if you have questions, simply send us an email. That's kind of the hub of what we use. Okay, you'll see how to access parent informational charms, and I'd encourage you to get on there and kind of play around with a little bit. It's our wireless system. Wasn't even. Okay, and as well. So a moment ago, we were telling you about the opportunities for parents to volunteer. You can go on to charms, onto our calendar. You can also get to our calendar through the MiltonHighSchoolBand.com website. And if you look on our calendar, you're going to see a hand with 5 color fingers. Yellow with colored fingers still, right? Okay. You click on that, parents. That is where you give us a hand. That's where you sign up. It'll be, if it's today, let's say June 1st, you'll see a little hand. You'll click on it and tell you what we need. Chaperones for the such and such game. It'll tell you concession workers. Why don't we have the technical difficulties with that thing there? It'll tell you we need concession workers for the such and such game, and so forth. Just click on that date, click on that hand. That's how you sign up for that. Okay? Moving on. Any questions about that? Notice as well on the sheet, find us on the web, and this is up here. We use Remind, and up here you'll notice the parent Remind texting groups for all band parents. You see that you text the number 850-637-8697. You just simply put in the message at Band Adults. You see the BPA has a Remind as well. You see you simply put in the message there at Parent BPA, and then whatever class that your child is in, graduating class. You're an incoming freshman, it'd be the MHS March 25. We encourage you to do that. Guys, what we use that Remind text for a lot of times is little short, quick blast out messages. We may be returning from the Escambia game and we may have had a bus issue. We may be 30 minutes late. So as soon as we know we're going to be 30 minutes late, we'll send out a text blast telling everybody, hey, we told you we're going to be back at the band room at 11:30. It's going to be midnight now. Get back from the game. And that just helps us to communicate quickly and efficiently. Okay? Any questions? Any other comments, Ms. Schultz, on that? All right. Any questions? Moving on. Fair shares and financial expectations. Guys, as I shared with you before, unfortunately, we are not funded the way that we need to be funded. Okay, and so what, I've done this for I mentioned 27 years. We used to just do all fundraisers with a band. And then we learned that some parents would go, you know what, just tell me what I owe you, because I am sick of fundraising. And I'm one of those parents. I had two daughters come through the band just a few years ago. And we would fundraise some, we would pay some. And so we came up with the idea of a fair share. Now the way that works is each student has their fair share that we're asking them to either pay or fundraise or a combination of both. Now we do fundraisers with our students. 100% of the profit goes into their charms account. Okay? If we're selling dollar candy bars and they sell a box of 60 and the profit is 50%, then they get $30 credit towards their fair share. Does that make sense to you? We don't keep anything off the top. When our students do fundraisers, we have set a budget for the band program, and we said this is what we need from the kids. That amount, we've got two different tiers on that, you'll notice. Tier 1 is $250, Tier 2 is $325. Okay? And you say, why is there $75 difference? Remember we talked about the BPA volunteer incentive thing earlier? If you volunteer at 3 different events, that helps offset some of the money that we need. Okay? And so you do the 3 events, and you finish out those 3 events, $75 is deducted off the fair share. Does everybody sort of understand that? If your child gets out there, we're going to do some fundraisers, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And guys, I had 2 daughters come through. I had one daughter that fundraised all of her fair share just about every year. I had the other daughter that wasn't good at fundraising, and I wrote checks every year. Okay? And that's just kind of how life is. So that's the first thing. There are some other uniform expenses for our new winds and percussion members. We still got to be in uniform this fall, even though we're trying to raise $100,000. Those uniform expenses, just so you know, for wind and percussion members is $74 per member. They buy their own band pants. Those we call them bibbers. They're black pants that come up. They're kind of like overalls. Okay, they have to buy those. If they don't outgrow over the next 4 years, you won't have to buy another one. Or if we get the new uniforms, you won't have to buy another one. They have to buy their own shoes as well. You'll notice the shoes are $27, so a total of $74. We learned last year that the uniform company now just allow, and the uniform companies, Bando Shoes and Band Shop allows folks to buy it individually, so that's how we do it. Okay? Anything you want to say about that?
So this Thursday, we're actually doing all uniform fittings, including color guard. We're going to do it during rookie camp, during the sectional time. So everyone's going to get fitted during that time. What we're going to give students is the order information. You see order information will be handed out. On there, it's going to show you, you'll have a paper. Obviously, you can't click the paper. I'm going to put it on the website to where you can click it, but you'll have the information on what sizes and numbers you need to punch in there. And it works just like any other website. You put it in your cart and then you check out. Luckily, we're not going to be in full uniform towards the end of August, beginning of September. So we put a deadline on there of August 20th for the parts that need to be ordered. I know there's some color guard things in there that okay. So, but anyway, August 20th is going to be the deadline to order those particular parts.
Now, if your child's in the color guard, there's some other expenses because the color guard uniform is a totally separate uniform that we're doing for this upcoming year. Notice it's $222 per member, okay, along with a fair share. Understand that. They're doing a tunic for $75, a unitard for $35, shoes which are $28, their gloves, which they need gloves for the equipment, $15. They also do specialized shirts, the guard does, so they all look the same. $30, and then a jacket for the stands, because a lot of times during the season their uniforms are short, but they need to look alike in the stands. And they like, when we travel, kind of like cheerleading squads and dance teams, they like to look alike because that's what the other guards do, right, Mr. Schultz? So an additional $222 on top of that. Okay. Notice school-owned instrument maintenance fee. This is kind of a countywide thing. $50 per member if they use a school-owned instrument. What that means, if your child doesn't come to school with their own instrument, if they use one of our tubas, our baritones, our French horns, our bass clarinet, tenor sax, bari sax, or percussion, we have a $50 maintenance fee. What that does, I told you before, we get $4,000, won't even buy a tuba. That goes towards helping us get those maintained, repaired, ultrasonic clean, replacing drum heads, and so forth. Okay, that all kind of goes into that repair pot so that we can get that stuff fixed up. So, because otherwise there's really not a lot of funds there for us to do that. So that's usually charged out as well in the fall. Now, if you'll flip back, I've kind of showed you, we're getting further back in the packet now, close to the end of the packet. You see the form that says uniform care. That's just kind of the washing instructions for our current uniforms, so you know what to do, because they are wash uniforms, take them home to wash them. We do ask you to please, through the season, wash their uniforms. It doesn't have to be every time they wear it. But please, after 2 or 3 times, especially when it's hot and humid, the rest of us beg you to wash their uniform, okay? So you'll know what I'm talking about when you come up for a game and one of them hadn't washed it. Fair share donations, I've just kind of explained to you what that is. I explained to you in there about the volunteer incentive program as well. Kind of giving you a payment schedule of how we need the money to come in order to pay the bills. And we'll be, of course, throwing fundraisers out there and so forth. But notice fair share number 1, if we get $50 in by July the 8th, just to help us get through band camp, okay? We pay about $7,000 for the halftime show. We have our music specifically written for the Milton Band, our drill specifically written for the Milton Band. Notice by August 12th, another $100, so a total of $150. Notice by September 16th, another $100, total of $250. And then by October 21st, either the other $75 or that you've worked those other, the home football games that we've had, the Blackwater Classic, you work those 3 events to get that credit. And then if you've got a school-owned instrument, that fee in by November the 18th. We ask that you'll please try to do that. Now, in saying that, when you want to make fair share donations, on Charms, there's the ability to pay it online through PayPal. When you go to your child's account, it'll say make a payment. You click on it now. It does charge 2.5% because it's PayPal. It's not us. We don't get that. But to make payments, as the payments are due, notice in front of our office right there, there's a money box, a big wooden box sitting right there. There are envelopes in the front of that money box. You can write a check out to MHS Band, okay? Put your child's name on the bottom of it. Make sure it has a phone number and a physical address on the check too, please. We can deposit right there. If they bring in cash, they need to fill out the envelope, bring it into the office so we can write them a receipt. We've got receipt books, stacks of receipt books, and we will write them a receipt, okay? But payments can be made online, payments can be made via check, be made via cash, or again, if they do the fundraiser, we'll take, once we get the profit sheet, we'll take and apply that into their accounts. Does that sort of make sense? As well, notice at the bottom there, before I take questions here, if you have difficulties, guys, we know that families go through things, unemployment, different things. Please just communicate with us. We will work with you, and I can, give you some agencies that may can help if you meet certain qualifications and so forth. But even if it's $10 a week or whatever, we will work with folks. Okay, I've never ever, and I never will, not allow a kid to get on a bus and go do something. But we need folks to communicate with us. That's important. It's hard on our end, having to try to pay the bills and trying to keep on top of things. We got debt collectors, saying, hey, when are you going to pay for this stuff? So please, if you'll just simply work with us. And again, if you've got a hardship, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to work with you on that. If you'll flip the page over, you'll see, we've always believed in running the program with transparency. We don't have anything to hide. We'll try to answer questions the best we can. We're here, guys, to try to make a difference in kids' lives. That's what we're about. We're not running a business. We're not trying to make a profit or anything like that. But we do know that it takes money to make this marching band go, to make this band go. You'll notice I've shared with you there, that is our budget for this upcoming year. Okay, you get a chance, you can just kind of glance through it. But it costs to do things. It costs to do quality things. Okay, so any questions about the fair share that I can answer, or any of the uniform stuff?
Mr. Weir,
yes, ma'am.
you don't have the helmets and or berets listed, or are we not?
Well, and that I thought, and I don't think I've got down to the uniform stuff yet, but I'll address that real quick. Because of the uniform change, because we're trying to get to that, which is a different helmet, we are trying to figure out something different and not wear helmets this year, or wear something. I'm not saying not wear helmets, but not have everybody pay $100 for their helmet and plane, if that makes sense, because we don't want them to get it and then we only use it for a year. I mean, I don't know. You want to address that again?
Yeah, I'll address that. So we've been needing a new uniform for years. Actually, the uniform we had came in 2006, something like that. And so uniforms generally have a 10-year lifespan to them. Well, we're way past that at this point. We do have a design. We've actually been talking with a company. We've narrowed it down to one design. We haven't really actually put that out there because we're waiting to finalize it. And with that design, it's a head-to-toe change of what we normally do. Our goal is to try and get this uniform for the 2022-23 season. I wish we could do it this year, but we don't have, unless one of y'all want to donate $100,000, then we'll do it. But our goal is for 22-23. And if we do it for 22-23, then we would have this year, we do the helmets, we do all that like normal. It would be the only year that we would purchase them, wear them, and then we wouldn't have to use them again. We wouldn't use those particular headgear again after this year. So we're trying to kind of weigh the options there. Those helmets with the plumes cost about $80 to $100. And students keep them and whatnot. But we're trying to weigh the options. Like I said, do we pay them, get them, use them for 1 year, move on? Or if we know that we're not going to be able to achieve the goal of 22-23, when will we know that? If we do it too late, if we order them too late, then we're going to get them a lot later in the season. So we will talk more with y'all about that later.
Yeah, that's still kind of up in the air. But thank you for asking that question. Speaking of uniforms and uniform parts, we'll move on. Notice we do kind of have two uniforms. One is our T-shirt and blue jeans, which we call our summer uniform. I thought I saw somebody wearing one of our T-shirts earlier from this past year. I know it's up here. You see the back of it right up here. Together we're the Mighty Black and Gold. That is our new band shirt. If somebody was asking about our summer polos, we've decided that's $38 that we don't need to spend anymore per kid. Okay, so we're just going to keep with the blue jeans and the black soft T-shirts that we usually use. And then, of course, we have our full band uniform, which consists of the coat and the sash. And I usually have one out here, and I forgot to grab one. A black coat, the black and gold sequin sash, the black pants, black socks, black shoes, black gloves. Okay, so summer uniform is the blue jeans and T-shirt. Full uniform is the other one. Color guard uniform I mentioned earlier, tunic and unitard, shoes, gloves, and jackets. So they can wear those if cold, because there are those games in the season, and they're wearing short sleeves, and the rest of the band's got long sleeves on, and they like to have jackets so they can all look the same as well. Uniform ordering process, again, Mr. Schultz mentioned they need to be ordered by August 20th, okay? And then we will size students on Thursday of this week. You notice an announcement up there on the board. We've got plans to do that during rookie camp And then I mentioned the uniform phase-out potential and our new uniform drive to you earlier. Now, fundraisers. I will tell you that right now we've got 2 fundraisers. Guys, I'll tell you, over the last few years, some years we've tried to do 10 or 12 fundraisers. Some years we've done 3. And you know what I've discovered? The ones that are going to do fundraisers will work just as hard and make just as much money on those 3. Then it's always the same ones if we do 10. It's usually about 30 to 40 of the kids that do the fundraisers. Okay, is what I've learned. So one of our big ones that I've seen be very successful is our band car wash, and that is on Saturday, July 17th. And I know what you're thinking. How many you make $150 at a car wash? What we do is a pledge-a-thon with a car wash. We'll send out sheets here a little bit later this summer through Charms. Okay, and before we meet back for band camp, students will get pledges per car that we wash, and we set up in 5 locations on that one Saturday from like 9 to 2 here in Milton. Okay, we set up in those 5 locations, and we do a free car wash. And, you know, folks will come in, and in the past, in those 5 locations, we've done usually about 250 cars. So you think about it. If Sally goes out, and Uncle Joe gives her 5 cents a car, and she gets 10 cents from Aunt Cindy, thank you, Aunt Cindy, and, and then your neighbor gives them 5 cents, and they get $1 in pledges per car. We wash 250 cars. They've just paid their fair share with you volunteering 3 times. I've seen kids make $400 and $500 that work that thing. Okay, the whole band comes out. The whole band. They all sign up for different locations. We all work together as a band. The beauty in that is them getting pledges. Okay, Uncle Bob tells you he'll give you 10 cents a car. We wash 250 cars, and we get back that following Monday to count. We give them a verification sheet that says we washed this many cars at these locations. We washed 250. He pledged 10 cents. He just paid $25 to help, with their fair share. Okay. Meanwhile, he took his 2 cars and his RV out and got them washed for $25. Okay. So you see the kind of the trade-off there. So that's one of them. That'll take place this Saturday, right in the middle of band camp. The other one that is very successful is the Lumpia. Now, if you don't know, Lumpia is like a little egg roll. Okay, Miss Ann Gwynn, who used to have the Dragon Express, where Taco Town is a huge supporter of our band. Works real closely with our Band Parent Association. A few years ago, she started bagging up bags of 15 Lumpia. We sell them frozen. Okay, and our students make $5 a bag on those 15. Okay, so those usually go for like $13 for the pork ones and the vegetable ones, and then $15 for the beef ones, which the beef are my favorite. All right, they're really good. But they sell the bags for $13 and $15. Kids make $5 profit per bag. We have some kids that will sell 50 to 70 bags of Lumpia. Okay, so that's the 2 we got. We will have some other as we go through the year. Remember, 100% of the profit that your child makes goes to offset their fair share and their uniform. Well, the uniform stuff you order on your own, but their fair share. For the Lumpia, no, it needs to be a lot earlier. Yeah, we're getting our new freezer Friday. Okay, we've had a walk-in freezer over here by H&R Block since the 90s. Okay, if you ever notice that silver box that's on between the Circle K and H&R Block, that was our booster freezer for many years. It went kaput last year, and so we've been in the process of securing a new freezer. Thank goodness, and it's arriving Friday. We've got the concrete pad poured right out here behind our concession stand. So that's been our big thing on the Lumpia. But those Lumpia fundraiser is an outstanding fundraiser. You just take them, you drop them in oil, or you put them in your air fryer for about 6.5 minutes. And man, what a tasty treat! I love after a football game on Saturday morning, heat me up some Lumpia. So other ones we'll do probably a couple of others again to be determined as we're going. All right, and all these will be hitting through the summer and into the fall. All right. Items needed for band camp and rehearsals. Ms. Schultz, you want to hit that? You don't have to. I can.
Well, it's self-explanatory. Dress for hot weather. It's July in Florida. So water. We got to make sure we have that, even if you're not thirsty.
And guys, if you'll help the students to condition during the summer, I know how they are. We love AC in the state of Florida, right? They don't want to get outside, and they show up for band camp, and that's their first exposure to the heat, and they just want to die. What's that now? Cafe? Okay. So you see the music folder right there. It's on there. So music folder. We encourage them to bring a big water cooler with their name on it, one of those thermos type things. because they will get gushy goes and so forth there, even this week. Okay, so we encourage that. You want to say something about band camp?
So during the 2 weeks of band camp, they're only going to get an hour for dinner. So we'll have some kids that'll leave and go get dinner, but we'll have a lot of kids that will stay here. We will have a cafe open right here behind the band room for those kids that are staying during that hour. It's actually going to be in the softball concession stand, which is right behind the band room. We're going to have Chick-fil-A, Firehouse subs, hamburgers, hot dogs, french fries. Prices are going to be reasonable for the kids, so they don't have to spend a lot of money to eat. That menu will be sent out. We'll send it out through Charms, so y'all have it way before band camp. We also have a form you can fill out if you want to send money ahead of time, like the beginning of band camp, every Monday. We have a form you can fill out if you want to send it in. We'll keep track of it, how much they spend. Any money that is left over can either be refunded back to them or it will be transferred to their Charms account. So more information will come out on the menu later on, but it's just a cheaper way for the kids to eat, not have to leave campus and be late getting back because then they'll get in trouble. So.
Yeah, they still have them still will run over to Whataburger. If you go to Whataburger and we're grown men and you get a meal, I'm looking at $11, $12 for lunch that day or for dinner. So the boosters did this with $3 type items, $2, $2.50, so that our students can eat cheaper. Okay, so just something to be aware of there. So the last thing we've got right here, other stuff, number 14, well, the next to last, Chaperone Trainings. If you wish to chaperone with us, again, we've got to have a volunteer form if you're going to do any volunteering. And guys, I beg you, we need volunteers. Okay. Again, we need great band parents, and that's what makes this program successful. We have that saying together, we are the mighty black and gold. We're not just talking about the students and the staff. We're talking about the parents. We're talking about the administrators, other teachers, everybody that invest into our program. So we want you to be a part of that. But if you're interested in chaperoning, we do ask that you come to one of our 2 chaperone trainings. You don't need to come to both, but only one. Right now, we have 2 of them scheduled, one in the summer, one right at the beginning of the school year. It is Thursday, July the 8th at 7 o'clock. That one will take place over in the auditorium, the big building, kind of across and down. And then the second one will be on Tuesday night, August 17th at 7 o'clock right here in the band room. One or the other. It's about a 45-minute training. We kind of tell you what to expect, how we need you when you're chaperoning, kind of go over some of the ground rules of what we need from our chaperones. Okay? I will tell you this, and Miss Jessica will speak up in just a moment if she wants to. It's fun, but it is hard work. It's not just showing up and watching the football game. Those folks are up and down the bleachers and passing out stuff and supporting our kids and helping us get on off the field at halftime. Miss Jessica, anything you want to add to that? So show up to one of those 2. We'll have a packet or a sheet that we'll give you that night, about a 45-minute training, and that'll clear you so that we can use you to chaperone. Okay? Band trip, spring 2022. I will tell you this, that as a band, except for 1 year, my 27 years, we have, 2 years now with this past year, we have, I take that back, so we're going to Big Kahunas with the ones that want to go. We have done a band trip, okay? These trips have included the Smoky Mountains 1 year, Washington, D.C. and New York City. Last March, when COVID broke out and the world started shutting down, we were stuck in Washington, D.C. When they started closing Disney, we turned around. We were supposed to be going to New York City as well as part of that trip. And New York shut down. We got to D.C. Our travel company said, you're not going to New York. They just shut it down. And we had to turn around and come back from D.C. That's one of our trips. Orlando is one of our trips. This upcoming year, my wife taught me to do this about 12 years ago, which has been fun, is our cruise year. As we take the band on a cruise, Carnival or Royal Caribbean. Now again, I got to go through the school board. I don't know where we are with the COVID stuff, but that's what's in our rotation. We have those 4 trips and we rotate them every year. This past year was supposed to be a Disney year, okay? But that is our trip for this upcoming year. I will just tell you, we're talking about fair share and all that money. The band trips are optional. Whoever wants to go, okay? Last time we did the cruise, it was about $600, $650 per person. And that, I'm an avid cruiser, and I know I can say I can go out of Mobile for $350 or $400. This includes everything. This includes tips and gratuities. This includes all the port taxes. It includes everything for them. Okay, just putting that, and I don't have any information to give you. Hadn't even started the process, but I do want you to kind of be aware that that's what's in our the upperclassmen know. Trust me. Okay, they know, and so I want you to kind of be aware of that. Yes, ma'am.
Is it usually after the end of the year?
No, it's usually at some point in the spring.
Okay.
Okay. Probably not going to be spring break, but probably like a 4-day or something in April. Right there, we may use a holiday or something, or a planning day. Okay, and usually, if it's school board approved, they'll let us have a day or two off from school. Okay, because our kids work so hard all year representing Milton High School. No, not for closing the tour. If you return to the same place, all you got to have is a valid ID. Okay, so just want you to have that on your radar. I mentioned earlier how to make payments to the band program online via PayPal or our money box. And the last thing, if you'll look at the very, very last sheet that's in your packet, you'll see our 21-22 band medical form. This is one of the most important documents that you're going to give us this year. Okay, this is the medical form that we put in our medical book that our head chaperone holds on to whenever we travel with the band. This is what we use. And guys, I've had those experiences over the past years. When we have to take a kid down to the ambulance, we grab their medical form. When we have to ride the ambulance to the hospital with a kid, which I've done about 2 or 3 times in my career, we have that medical form. What this does is this allows the medical people, this allows us to give them the medicine that they need so we know their allergies and so forth. So we can give them what they need. This allows us, even if we're at a football game and they have a headache or a tummy ache, we can go into our medical kit and give them something for a headache. If we don't have that medical form, we're not allowed to give them anything. You follow me? So as soon as you can get that back, the better we will be. It has a notary place on the back. It does not have to be notarized. It does have a witness in lieu of notary, 2 witnesses. You get 2 other adults to sign off on that, and that works just as well. All right? So that's all the packet. Are there questions that you may have for me or Mr. Schultz? Any questions? We try to be brief, I promise you. Yes, ma'am. It can be, yes, ma'am. It sure can, yes. Yes?
For the summer camp, can you donate food to help feed everybody?
It's a question for you. For summer camp, can they donate food to help feed everybody?
You can. We have a menu that we're going to be going by. One thing that we will need donated is fruit, because we'll make up fruit cups to give to the kids. It's one of the items on the menu. So we do ask people to donate different fruits, chips. We do canned soda. So anything you want to donate would help. That way we don't have to purchase it. You know. So we'll get that list out to y'all of what we're going to have. And if you want to donate it, you can just let one of them know. Contact me. My name's and number's on that little thing. Just let me know. Okay.
Other questions? What? I'm gonna have to look at the school board meetings. There's one Thursday, and I know these won't be in time for that. So if they've got one 2 weeks after, possibly. Is there one 2 weeks from Thursday? So yeah, if you get these forms in tonight, yeah.
4th of July, just so y'all know, if y'all can get these volunteer forms in, if you want to volunteer. 4th of July, we're going to be set up downtown Milton for the big River Fest. It's going to be an all-day event from 8 a.m. till about 9 p.m. I'm probably going to need about 30 volunteers. So if you want to volunteer, if you can get that turned in tonight, you'll have a good chance if you can volunteer.
And last thing I've got, if you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, I've asked you to sort of check in for tonight's meeting so I'll know who was represented here. And on that, you're going to notice it's going to ask you just a few little things about the student name. It's going to ask you some things that you may be gifted at. If you'll take a few moments when you get home or even before you leave tonight and fill that out, it'll also ask you, my friends consider me to be, it may receive friendly. That's so we can kind of get an idea of who you are and help plug you in. Because we want you to be a part of the Mighty Black and Gold. You with me on that? Can I get an amen on that? Amen. All right. So we want you to be a part, and we want your children to be a part as well. Are there any other questions that'll help the group? If not, I'll be up here for a few minutes. Mr. Schultz will be right over there. Please come see us. But again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. I hope you have a great evening. Thank you.